um, education, consumer education, is a dual responsibility of the government and the service provider. Both have not been doing their responsibility, and it's beneficial to the service provider because the less the people know, the less they can resist it. And so it's easy for them to just change charges or pass on anything to the consumers without informing them or educating them, because they're making money from doing it. So there's not been enough awareness. A lot of people don't know what they're paying for, how much they're paying for whatever service that they say they're giving them. And they don't know, even when they now find out that they're paying for those things and they don't agree with it, they don't know who to talk to. They don't know where to go. So there is not enough information. The few advocacy we've done, the little awareness we've created, the response has been overwhelming. People are thanking us for saying, I didn't know that I was paying so much money. I didn't know. And then they're going to their banks and making demands, and some are already going ahead to close the accounts that they don't use, because as long as they leave those accounts open, the bank just slams it with all kinds of charges. So people don't know enough. We need to create a lot more awareness. The people we've been able to reach are mostly online because that's what we can afford. But what of the general public, the people who are not online, the market woman in the street who has opened a small savings account to keep money so that she can manage whatever? Most people don't know. The role of the CPC is to look out for the interest of the consumer. The CPC is supposed to, one, lead in terms of consumer education, help consumers understand what. Two, they have regulatory authority also. They need to mandate the service providers to provide adequate consumer education, because consumer education is a consumer right. It is your right to know what you are buying, what is made of, what is it made of, what does it contain, what is your liability, what is your responsibility, and what is the responsibility of the service provider. But nobody gives any that information around here. We just push the thing out and says buy, 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 because we know that Nigeria is a seller's market, is not yet a buyer's market. So people just push it out there. The market is large, people are needy, they just grab the thing without knowing the hazards of what they're buying or the consequences of what they're buying, until they are caught in it, and then they start saying, oh, I've been shortchanged. Who do I go to? We've been on these bank charges advocacy since 2015. We first put out a petition protesting the 100 Naira debit card maintenance fee in 2015. That got the attention of the CPC then. The CPC DG wrote to Central Bank to say, look at this. And Central Bank said, don't worry, we're working on a review of bank charges. So we kept quiet. We didn't get to hear much from them. By March 1st, 2016, we declared a no banking day. A lot of people didn't think it was anything serious. Some people observed it, but it drew attention to this issue of bank charges. And CBN puts out press releases to say, oh, we're working on it, we are helping people regain their money, we're bringing out a new guideline soon, and all that. So we waited for the guideline. The guideline shows up May 2017, that's over a year, of which those charges never stopped. Instead, they were increased. And then the guideline comes, and instead of taking off the burden in some areas, it added more burden. It reduced some of the charges, like what you pay for online platforms, reduced it to 50 Naira. But I hear banks like GTB still charge 80 Naira. They're not doing anything about that. And then they say, you now have to start paying 50 Naira per debit card every month. We were complaining about 100 Naira a year, that we don't understand what that charge is for. What is the service? You don't maintain anything. We pay to get the card. We have paid you for the card. We pay every time we use the service. So what is the 50 Naira for? And we have to pay that 50 Naira every month. Nobody's answering us or explaining. They've just started charging it. Do you understand? So that one came out, and then that increased. And then now, They have made the SMS compulsory at 4 naira, when we know that the cost of an SMS is not 4 naira. And we know that SMS does not in any way protect anybody from fraud. So if SMS does not protect me from fraud, why are you making it mandatory? Why are you making it by force? Everybody must get it. So the banks now cleverly send you 3, 4, 5 SMSs on every transaction you do, so that they multiply that by 4. And for every transaction, so if you do 50 transactions in 1 month on any bank platform, you'll be getting, for some banks, up to 200 SMS, so that they can times it by 4 and charge you 80 naira for SMS. What am I saying, 80 naira? No. If you do 200 by 4, that's 800 naira. For SMS, people are being charged all kinds of atrocious charges. Then there's the, what do you call them now? Bank maintenance, account maintenance fee, which is supposed to be maximum of 1 naira per every 1,000 that you take out of your account. Not that you put in. Every 1,000 that you withdraw, and for third party or something. But consumers get charges of 800 naira as account maintenance. Some people 1,000 something. So are they saying that that person withdrew up to over 1 million? Some people don't even have up to that in their account, and their account maintenance charge is 400 and something or 800 and something. Nobody's explaining to them, this is how this is being charged, so that I know whether I want to do that transaction and I want to take the charges or not. You just, at the end of the month, your phone just starts receiving alerts, and all those alerts, you pay for them actually. To tell you, balance in your account is this, you have been charged 200 naira for account maintenance charge, you have been this, you have been that, and you pay for all of those alerts too. So it's, instead of getting better, easing the pressure, it's adding more burden to people. And we've just been advising consumers, maybe until we get the CBN, who is the regulator, to do its job, you can protect yourself. And the way to protect yourself is to minimize the amount of accounts you have in banks, because for every one of those accounts, you are going to be paying these charges. That's what CBN has said. Even dormant accounts. My friend was telling me, you don't even know what's going on in this Nigeria. He has a dormant account he has not used in, I think, maybe 8 years, 10 years. I can't remember now. They just started billing him. Now they say he owes them 1-something million. And they are writing him and demanding payment for an account that has not been used for some time. So they gave it to a debt collector to call him. That would be the 3rd or 4th complaint I got, that banks are giving those kind of debts to a debt collector to go and be collecting from them. This is accounts that have been dormant for 10 years, 5 years. But because they didn't close it, the bank every month will charge them for services they don't understand, that they never enjoyed. So before you know it, there is debits. And then when they say there's debit, they say it's automatic overdraft that you didn't request for. So they start charging you interest on that. So before you know it, it's been compounded and all that, and people are owing. I've had 4 complaints in 1 week of debt collectors calling customers to come and pay on an account that has been shut down for 2 years or more. Now, by law, any account that is not running in 6 months is dormant. A dormant account means that money will be there, but you can't activate it, you can't touch it until you come and write to reactivate that account. Well, the dormancy of an account in Nigeria does not stop the banks from charging that account for services that they say is given on that account. E.g., we sent you SMS. Did you ask for it? If the account is dormant, there shouldn't be anything going to anybody. But we sent you SMS, or we issue the debit card, because on all your accounts, they issue an automatic debit card. So whether the account is running, is alive, or is dead, they will issue the debit card. The debit card are sitting in their vaults. You don't see it, but they charge you for it. And so the 50 naira now is being taken out of those relatively dormant accounts, because as long as there's a debit card that exists, they will be charging 50 naira on it. So these are the ways, very unethical and bordering on fraudulent ways by which banks are making money in Nigeria. And we have shouted, we've screamed CBN doesn't seem to be alive to its responsibility. So we say to consumers, don't wait. At least protect yourself first. If you are going to be paying excessive charges, pay it only on the minimum number of accounts. If you have any account in your name that is open anywhere, write a letter to say, please close this account. That's a formal request to close it. Once you have given that letter, they've stamped it received, you are not liable anymore because you have given them instruction to close. So if they keep charging by themselves, that's their problem. As long as you have a copy of a letter to say on so date, I wrote you a letter to close this account. So that means I don't own this account anymore. I'm not running it anymore. But most of the Nigerians don't do that. They just leave the account and say, I don't use it anymore. They leave it there open in the bank's books. And as long as it's open in the bank's books, it's against their name that they are owing the bank when they are not even getting any service, enjoying any services from it. So we're running a campaign now, that's the advocacy we're doing now, to educate Nigerians on closing accounts. And our target is that with this advocacy, we'll be able to close 1 million accounts.